Hello, good evening. In today's class, we will learn about queues. So, in the previous class, I have explained what is stack, how to implement a stack using arrays. In that, we saw two versions of the program. In one program, we had the stack array, the array which represents stack, and the top variable. Both these variables were globally declared, and in the other version of the program we had declared it locally, and we saw both the versions how it works, right? Similarly, what is queue, how to implement it using arrays, we will see in today's class. In today's class also, in the program, we are going to consider the variables in the as a global variable. In the next class, we will see how to put it as local variable and do the modifications. Basically, why I am doing this both versions is in some books, different ways it will be given, and even in interviews and all that, this is how they'll ask you to modify the program. So they'll give a one working program, they'll give you with certain variables in a different way, and they'll ask you to make it local and then modify the function prototypes and all that. So you should know how you have to modify your program in order to get the same output but with different level of data handling. So that is the reason I am explaining both the versions of the program. And then using arrays is static implementation. Dynamic implementation means we have to use linked lists, like you have to use structures with pointers. So once we are done with queues, array implementations, I will explain you how to declare a linked list, how to insert elements, how to delete elements, all that we will see. And then we'll see one big list program. That program, you have to select some of the functions to make it as a stack and to make it as a queue. So dynamic implementation of stack and queues we will learn after learning static implementation of queues using arrays. Okay, fine. So let's start today's class. I will be mentioning certain books which are very good and cheaper also. I'll mention the links in the description. Okay, so it will be usually from Amazon, and you can click on the link and purchase if at all you want. You are not going to pay anything extra, but through this link, if you purchase, I'll be getting a very small amount. It's called as affiliate linking. If you're interested, you can buy, just can have a look at them. And those are, I have referred many books, and those are the books which are very simple for a student, a beginner to understand, and you can use it until your placements also. Okay, nice useful books only I am referring. So if at all you want to buy books, like, you can refer the links given in the description. Those are the books that I refer always. Okay, apart from that, I have very complicated books also, but these are the books I refer to teach students who are just learning these technologies. Okay, fine. So we'll see what is a queue. So what is a stack? It's a linear data structure in which insertion and deletion both will be done at the one end of the array only, one end of the stack only, and that end was called as top, right? Similarly, what is queue? Queue is a linear data structure. Okay, so queue is a linear data structure in which insertion is done at one end. Insertion of elements is done at one end. Okay, and this end is called as the rear end of the data structure, or in this case array. We call one end as a rear end, and that end is where we do the insertion, and deletion is done at the other end. Okay, deletion is at the other end, called as the front end. This end is called as front. Okay, so queue is a linear data structure in which insertion is done at one end, called as the rear end. Deletion is done at the other end, called as the front end. Now, in stack, we had only one open end, and that was called as top of the stack, for which we had an integer variable. Here, since you have seen there are two open ends, one for insertion and one for deletion, we need two index variables in order to keep track of the elements that are present in the queue. So example for this is in real time itself. You have seen lot of examples. You have lot of counters and some ticketing process, booking process, the lot of things where there is a queue system maintained. The first one who enters in the queue is the one, his request will be processed first, right? Like you have a bank counter, okay, you have a bank counter, there is a queue, insertion is done at this end, right? So new people keep entering from this end and deletion is done from this end, isn't it? Whoever is at the front of, front of this queue, this is the beginning of the queue, front of the queue. So whoever is there at the front of the queue, their request is processed, whatever is their purpose, that is done, they're sent. Then the next person's request is processed. So basically here is what we insert, and this is called as the rear end of the queue. Here is where those people are moved out of the queue, it is called delete, and this is the front end of the queue. This is how you need to understand. In system also there are a lot of processes in which the first in, this is called as first in first out. The first element which enters will be the first one to go out of the structure or the queue. Okay, so here we say first in first out. So queue process is also referred as FIFO. Okay, first in first out means the element that is inserted first is the one that is removed. Now let us see how it is actually internally implemented in the form of an array. So let us assume we have an array. Okay, and I will write it like this, and let me declare an array called q with size 10. Okay, here also since it's an array we are going to use from 0 we will have the index variables. Up to 9. Okay, now initially when the queue is empty, observe, because since you have already attended stacks class, if you have not attended stacks class, please attend it, otherwise everything if you learn together it will get confused one after the other. Please practice, master it before attending the next class. So how to check stack is empty, how to check queue is empty, how to check stack is full, what is overflow condition, what is underflow condition, all these things we have already discussed. I will be using the same terminologies now. So if you have not watched the previous video, it becomes difficult to watch this one. So I will mention the description, in the description I'll mention the link also. So first learn those things and then learn this. Okay, fine. So initially when the queue is empty, see when the stack is empty we make top variable as -1, right? Here we need two variables, one is front, one is rear. So I will take it as f and r. Okay, both will be made as -1. There only top was -1. Now both front as well as rear we are making it -1. So I'll just write it as front and rear only. Front is -1. This is going to be an integer variable, that's it. Rear is also -1, indicating that if both these variables are -1, it means queue is empty. Now when we want to insert an element, okay, whenever we want to insert an element, what is that we need to check? Whether the queue is full, we have to check. How to check whether queue is full? See, if both are queue is full when rear is 9, right? So initially front and rear both are -1, then I will insert one element. So I'll write the queue full later. Okay, initially I want to insert one element. I see that both are -1, means the queue is empty. So there is one element, no, this itself is the front and this itself is a rear of the array also, because that is the only one element in the queue. So if when I am inserting, if both are -1, then make both as 0 and then insert this element, insert the number at this position. Now both front and rear are equal to 0, it means there is only one element in the queue. Okay, next is, this is one case. Suppose both are not -1, Okay, if both are -1, you have to make both as 0. Suppose both are not -1, then check, then just increment rare variable, means the stack already has elements, so you have to just keep on incrementing the rare variable. Front will remain same, front will be 0 only, rare we have to increase. So increase rare and insert num at that position. Okay, so this keeps on repeating. So when will the queue be full? When rare is equal to size -1. If size is 10, size -1 is 9, which is a maximum position number for a queue, right? So if rare is equal to size -1, then the queue is full, and that is called as queue overflow condition. That is, when the queue is already full, you are trying to add some more numbers to it, which is not possible, therefore that is called as overflow condition. So how do you check whether queue is full? If rare is equal to size -1, then queue is full, or we say overflow condition. Okay, queue is full and you can't further insert, so insertion operation will not happen. So this is about insertion. So when you are inserting a new element, first check whether queue is already full. If it is not full, then you can insert. So if it is not full, then check whether both are -1. It means it is empty. If it is empty, both you have to increment and insert the number. If it is not empty, then insert only rare variable and increase only rare variable and insert the number. This is for insertion. Okay. Next we will see how to delete. Again, first you have to check whether stack queue is empty. If it is empty and you are trying to delete, that is called as underflow condition, right? So how to check? Check whether front is equal to -1 and rare is equal to -1. If both are -1, then queue is empty. When the queue is empty, if you are trying to delete from an empty queue, you will get an error saying it is an queue underflow, and you have to write that in the printf statement. If both are not -1, it means then you have some elements in the array. Then check. The next one to check is if front is equal to rare. This happens when only one element is there in the array. I will show you certain examples, you will understand. Okay, if only one element is there in the array, then it is called as then you can delete the element and make both as -1. Both front and rear you can make it as -1. Okay, if both the conditions are not true, that is queue is not empty and it is not that you have only one element, you have more elements in the array, then what you have to do is delete the element. So for deleting, you have to delete whatever element is there at the front. So what is the element? F is a variable that denotes the index of the front element. Now remove this, that is you store this into another variable called num and increment f. So now the front element is at 1, it is not at 0, it is at 1. Okay, front will increase now. So hope this is clear. This is insertion and deletion operations. And one more operation, as you know, it is just the display operation, which displays all the elements of the queue in an order. And here, since it is first in first out, we will display them in this order. We will start from front and up to rear. Whatever elements are there, we will display. We will not start from 0. Okay, we will start from front, because after 2-3 deletion operations, front would have come here. These way play positions might have some number, but they are not anymore belonging to the queue. Therefore, you should always start from front and end with the rear variable for displaying queue elements. Okay, so this is the basic operations that is involved with queue. Here also only insertion and deletion is present. Insertion is allowed at one end, deletion is allowed at the other end. The end at which insertion is done is called as the rear end. The end at which deletion is called as the front end. So when you are deleting or inserting elements, some modifications needs to be done for the index variable. I have told you what all cases are there. So to modify the variables values, okay, index variables values. Now we will see what happens to these index variables, how the changes occurs when multiple insertion and deletion operations are done. With the help of a diagram, we will try to understand this, okay. So here we have an example diagram, you can see. Okay, so insertion is also called as NQ, and deletion is also called as DQ, so which I did not tell you. Insert operation is also called as NQ, and deletion operation is also called as DQ. Okay, fine. So now see, initially the queue is empty. Both front and rear will be -1. Now we have 0, 1, 2, 3 up to max q -1, that is size -1 basically. Now when I am adding one number a, that is the first element, both front and rear both are going to be 0, because earlier both were -1 indicating empty q. Now both will be equal to 0 and a is stored here. Next we are adding 3 more elements. Now when b is inserted, since both are not -1, means some elements are there in the queue, therefore we are going to only increase rear variable. So front remains 0 only. See, here front is 0, here front remains 0 only, rear keeps on increasing. So when b is inserted, rear became 1, when c is inserted, rear became 2, and when d is inserted, rear became 3. Front is not modified, okay. So while we are adding elements, we increase only the rear variable every time, and only if both are -1, we increase both to 0, okay. Now DQ means we have to remove the element. You know, when you are removing, you have to remove from the front end only. This means where whatever front variable is having value, that value at that position needs to be removed. Front is 0. So value at that position 0 needs to be removed. Since it is removed, see, a is removed now, right? Since this is removed, this position is vacant now. Front is incremented. Front becomes 1. Again we are removing next element. So we will remove b also, front becomes 2. Okay, now see, the values are 3 and 2. Okay. Now if I insert one more element, now say e, where will it get inserted? It will get inserted here, and then rear becomes 4. Okay, so like this the arrays, the elements kept on adding in the queue. Now there is a major disadvantage here. What is that? You will add e, then you will delete one element. Deleting element removes c, right? It removes c. So front is going to be 3. Then you are going to add one more element, which is f, added here. So now rear becomes 5. Now you add one more element, which is g. Now rear becomes 6. Now if you try to add one more element, it leads to an overflow condition, because rear is already maximum size -1. Okay, whatever is the maximum size, that maximum size it has reached. Now you say that queue overflow has occurred. It means queue is already full. You cannot add any more elements to the queue. But in reality, you still have these 3 positions vacant, isn't it? But you can't use it, because when you are deleting elements from the front end, you are creating this blank spaces which are not filled. So q is is a length of the queue, that is length of the array, and suppose size is 10, then there might be a situation after multiple insertion deletion operations, there might be a situation such that you don't have 10 elements overall, but still excuse me, you don't have overall 10 elements, but still you might be getting a message that queue is full. Okay, so this is the major disadvantage of using arrays to implement queue. How to overcome this? There are 2 ways. One is after every deletion from the front end, move all the elements one position to the left, so that there are no blank spaces created. Okay, see here we deleted one element. Immediately you keep front 0 only. B you copy here, C you copy here, and D you copy here, and rear you decrement. So this is one way of doing it, wherein if you say queue is full, means your queue has 10 elements or whatever size number of elements. So there are no empty spaces which are unused but still getting queue is full kind of error message. So that situation will not occur. But that is not recommended, because we are not talking about 10 elements, right? Why do we see, if it is just 10 elements, we don't need this data structure concept at all. We are learning this data structures because when you have large volumes of data, we are finding out effective ways of arranging it. Based on the operations involved, we will decide which is the effective way of arranging it, so that storing, deleting, inserting, deleting, and all rearranging, searching for an element, all these basic data operations will become faster. So for each type of application, based on the type of operations involved, we are going to implement certain data structure, means certain way of arrangement. In stack, insertion and deletion both are done at one end only. So if you have any application in which insertion deletion both should happen only at one end, then you can implement stack like data structure. And in queue, basically you have insertion at one end, deletion at the other end. All the other elements will be waiting, right, for it to be processed. So like this, every structure has its own property. So this data structure is basically arrangement of data. If you have just 10 elements, we don't have to think so much how to arrange data and all. We are going to have large volumes of data. When we have large volumes of data, after every delete operation, moving all the data one position to the left is definitely not recommended. So another way of avoiding this disadvantage is implementing circular queue. So after a couple of classes, we will see what is circular queue and all. Okay. Right now we will see how to write a program to implement these operations using global variables. Okay. First we need to comment. I'll write a queue implementation. So implementation of queue using arrays. So I have written that as a comment. Next we need header file. Now I need to declare the size constant. I need to declare hash define size 10 I'll give. Now I need to declare the global variables. Int, I'll write queue size, and I need two variables for the remembering front as well as rear. Int front equals to -1, rear equals to -1. These are my global variables required. Now I have to write three functions, one for inserting, one for deleting, and one for display. I will write void enqueue. Whatever number needs to be inserted, that we need to pass it as a parameter. Dequeue actually removes one element from the queue, and we don't have to give any parameters for it. That is input, we don't have to give. It will remove one number and it will show you for the send it for the main function. And then we have display. Okay, now that is function prototyping is done. Now we will write main function. In main function we will have, as before, we will have choice and num. I'm not going to repeat the same instructions as your stack program. In stack I told you entire data, all the data structure programs will be like a menu. The user is going to choose which option they want from the menu, which we are going to use using do while loop, you know that. So we'll have a series of printf statements here, right? So this you know, same as stack you can copy. Queue implementation, you can write printf 1 for inserting an element, 2 for deleting, 3 display, 4 quit, then another printf, enter your choice. So all that you are going to have, enter your choice, and whatever the user enters, you're going to store it in a variable. I'm just writing pf and sf, it is printf and scanf. So we will store it in the variable called choice. Next, we use switch statement in order to call appropriate functions. Switch choice. Case 1 is for insertion. You will ask the user to enter the number to be inserted. Okay, whatever number is entered, you are going to store it in the variable called num. Now just call enqueue function by passing num. Break. Okay, so like this we have to write all the other cases. You already know how to write. Same as stack you have to write. Okay, so after writing all the other cases, you have default also, so I'm not going to write all these things. You can copy from the previous program. Default case is also done. Now this is end of switch, this is end of while. Do while, here I'll write while choice not equal to 4, because 4 is the option to quit. So this is end of main. Okay, so far program is 90% similar to your stacks program, except the fact that here we have 2 index variables to store. Now we will write function definitions. So for function definitions, I will write void enqueue int num. Okay, so before inserting an element, what is the first thing that I need to check? Whether queue is empty. So if front equals to -1 and rear equals to -1, means both are -1, it means the queue is empty. Then printf, then we will write a block of statements. There's nothing to print. Actually you have to increase both to 0. Front equals to 0, rear equals to 0, and in queue, whichever you use, front or rear, doesn't matter. Queue, make it a habit that you have to insert only at the rear end, but as I told you here, both variables are same. Queue rear equals to num. So you are storing the value num at the position queue rear. Okay, this is if the queue is empty. Else, if the queue is not empty, then you check if rear is, else if rear is not equal to size -1. That is, if it is equal to size -1, then it will be full queue. Okay, queue is full and you have to display an error message. If rear is not equal to size -1, means it has not reached the top of the queue. That means you can still insert some more elements in the queue, right? So here what you have to do is just queue rear plus plus or queue plus plus rear, because first you have to increment rear variable. Queue plus plus rear is equal to num. If both are not true, both are not -1 and rear is not size -1, it means rear is size -1 only. Else printf queue is full, overflow condition occurred, something like that you can display. So that's all. That is about insert function. Very simple. Next we have delete function. For delete, that is called as dequeue. Int dequeue. We don't have any parameters here. Here I need a variable n or something to store the value that is present on top. First you need to check whether the queue is empty. If front equals to -1 and rear equals to -1, printf queue is empty deletion failed or queue underflow, whatever you want you can write. So that is if both are equal to -1. Okay, else suppose both are not -1, means then definitely it has some values, right? But in this case now, since you are deleting, first you need to check if both are equal to 0. If both are equal to 0, then both you have to make it as -1. Else if instead of 0, you can also check as front equals to rear. That is, if both are equal, then either it is 0 or some other value, whatever. If both are equal, it means there is only one element. Then what you have to do is n is equal to whatever is there at front, you copy. Now make both front and rear as -1. Because it is empty now. This is for DQ. That's all, simple, only DQ, that's it. And for display function, we need one index variable I, and we will just write a for loop. First we check whether the queue is empty. For that we need to check if front equals to -1 and rear equals to -1. Then printf empty queue, nothing to display. Else, that is if it is not -1, means there are some elements, right? So you have to just display, that's it. Take a for loop, I equals to front. So starting from front, I less than equal to rear, because until rear you have to print. So I less than equal to rear, I plus plus, just print whatever is element is there, /t I'll give. Whatever element is there, you print that, and it is basically at I position. Another closing bracket. This is end of display function. So if you have understood stack operations, then understanding queue is actually very easy, because most of the procedure is same. Only changes is with respect to the variables. There you had only one variable to verify, top variable. Here we have two variables to verify. Okay, right. So now the same thing, we will write the complete program in the software and we will see how to execute. So array implementation. Array implementation of a queue. So first we include header file, then I define the constant, now I'll give function prototypes, void enqueue int dq void display. These are the three functions that we are going to use. Now we will write the main function, same as our previous stack program. Int num choice, see I can copy paste it, but I am showing to you in detail because I want you to observe how we write the code. Just keep talking with yourself, talking inside your mind, and then you keep writing that itself as instructions. What all procedures you need, what all variables you need, you just keep talking to yourself and write the instructions. That is the best way to know what should be done next. Okay, so I've declared num and choice. Now I have to display a menu for the user to select. So I have to write a series of printf statements. Queue menu I'll write. Now we have the actual menu items, printf NQ or insert an element, anything you can give. Then I'm writing everything in the same instruction, you can write like that. 3 NQ DQ, then display. Final printf statement for asking the user to enter a choice. Whatever the user enters, we will store it in the variable choice itself. Now we use this inside switch statement, switch choice. Case 1 means if the user has entered 1, it means they want to insert an element, right? So we will ask the user what number to be inserted. Enter the number to be inserted. User entered some value. We are going to store it in the variable num. Now we will call the insert function, which is NQ function. NQ, number to be inserted, that's it. Then break. Next is case 2, that is suppose the user wants to delete an element from the front of the queue. Then first check num equals to DQ. Okay, means first we are calling the DQ function. Inside DQ function, if you remember, we have already checked the condition for stack is empty. If it is empty, we are going to display there itself. Only if it's not empty, we are going to return a num value, right? So since if it is empty, it should not display error message here again. Therefore I'll write if num, there I will return some minus 1 or something. Okay, if num not equal to minus 1, printf deleted item is %d, and that is num. Break. If this is not done, then case 3. Okay, here we'll just call the display function. Break. Case 4, this is when the user wants to quit. The user is going to enter case 4. Okay, so here we'll just write end of queue operations. And I'll write a break here also. If it is none of these, then we will be displaying enter valid choice. Okay, so that's about switch statement. This is end of while. Here we are supposed to write while choice not equal to 4. Only if you are giving 4 as a choice, the program will come out. Otherwise, if it's not equal to, then it keeps repeating again and again. So our main function is done. Now we will write procedures for sub functions. NQ int num. So what all things we need to mention? First, if front equals to -1 and rear equals to -1. If both are equal to -1, then we make both as 0. Okay, and at rear end we are supposed to At rear end we will insert num. You can insert front end also because both are 0 only. Okay, and we have inserted the num in both the places. That's it. Else if, that is both are not -1, means the queue is not empty but it has certain elements. So if rear is equal to size -1, then queue insertion failed due to queue overflow. This is the error message that I am displaying. Anything left out? If both are -1, it means it is okay. Else means it is not 0 and it's not -1, means there is some value in between. In this case we have to insert at rear position, just increment rear position and store num variable there, right? So that is our insert function, that is enqueue function. Next is dequeue function. In dequeue function I'll have one variable n which is going to store the value. First I have to check whether the queue is empty, for which I'll give if front is equal to -1 and rear equals to -1, means both are -1. In this case we will display that queue is empty and we say queue underflow condition has occurred. Okay, and we will return -1 because since it has a return type of an int value, we have to return something. Okay, so we need to give a value. Right, so we are going to return -1 if the queue is empty. Else if the queue is not empty, then we are checking whether both are equal to same value. Front is equal to rear. So what does that mean? If front is equal to rear, it means it has only one element. Okay, so in this case I will store what is there in the queue front position, and then I'll subtract, or queue in the front position is stored in n, and after that both front and rear is made as -1. Okay, understand why we are doing this? So we are removing an element, from the queue. So if queue is already empty, we can't remove, therefore we are checking whether both are equal to -1. If it is in -1, we are displaying an error message and we return -1. Suppose both front and rear are equal, means queue has only one element and you are removing that element also. So after you remove the last element available in the queue is going to be empty, right? So I am inserting, I am storing -1 in both front and rear variables. Okay, suppose I'll put a ladder if else here. I don't need nested if else. Okay, else if, this is additional. Okay, so if the first one is false, that is queue is not empty. Second one, suppose that is also false, means both are not equal. Then suppose both these conditions are false, it means queue is not empty and it has more than one element. In this case, whatever is there at the front end, I copy that to n, then I increment front so that it points to the next location. So that's it. So we have done all the required modifications. Now we need to return the value of n. So that is about dq function. Now we will write a display function. For display function also we need just one variable I, and then we will check if front equals to -1 and rear equals to -1. We print that Q is empty. If it's not empty, then we will take for I equals to front, I less than equal to rear, I plus plus. We will display the values and I'll give a tab space. What am I supposed to display? QI. Okay, so that's it. I'll save it now. Q1.c. Here, okay. Hope there are no errors. We'll compile. There is an error. If front equals to -1 and rear equals to -1, what is the error? Okay, so we have not declared front and rear only. Yeah, sorry, we have not declared the global variables. Int q size, okay, and we will have int front equals to -1 comma rear equals to -1. Yes, so global variables we had not declared, we had forgot that. Now I am declaring the global variable. Now I will compile. No errors. We'll execute the program now. So we have got the menu, and as you know, first thing that we need to check is, okay, fourth option is quit, that I have not mentioned, that we will mention it. I will give 4 and I'll quit, and here I'll mention that after this we need 4 quit or exit. I'll save, compile. Every time you make changes, save it and compile, and then you have to run. Okay, so now we have 4 menu options. So first I'll check display option. It says Q is empty. I'll select DQ option. It says Q underflow. Now I'll give NQ. Number to be inserted, I'll give 10. Now I'll display. So there is only one element, that is 10. Now I'll give again it's 20. Again I'll give it is 30. Now I'll display 10, 20, 30. So we have all the elements now. So I have inserted 4 elements now in the queue. Now I am going to remove the element. Which is the element that it will be removed? The first element inserted in the array should be the first one to be removed. First element inserted is 10. So that should be removed now. Deleted item is 10. Now I will display and we will check whether it is really deleted. Yes, see, it is deleted. We have now 20, 30 and 40. Now again I will give the second option. Deleted item is 20, deleted item is 30, deleted item is 40. Now all the elements are deleted. Now if I try to delete, it should give me Q underflow. Yes, Q underflow condition is coming, right. So now our queue is full, and I told you about the disadvantage. Now we will talk about that disadvantage also. Size is 10, so I have to insert 10 elements. Okay, 20, 30, 40, 50. So I am inserting 10 elements actually. 70, 80. So now I have inserted 8 elements. I will display. See, from 10 to 80 we have 8 elements in the queue. size of q is 10. I told you about the disadvantage, that is, now I'll remove the element, 2 elements I'll remove from the beginning, so 10 and 20 will go. See, deleted item is 10, again I give option 2, deleted item is 20. Now I'll display, it is there from 30 to 80 only. Now I will again delete, 30 is also gone. Now I have 5 elements in the queue, which is 40 to 80. Now I'll insert one element, 90, insert one more, 100. Now see the contents. We don't have 10 elements, we have 7 elements only, because we have removed 3 elements. But still, now if I try to insert, it should give me an error message saying the queue is full. I gave choice 1, enter the number to be inserted, I'll give 30. It says queue insertion failed, queue overflow. So it says that queue is full, right? Queue is overflowing. But actually it is not, because size of queue is 10. But how many elements I have right now in the queue? I have only 7 elements. Still I'll remove some more elements. I'll give choice 2. Item deleted is 40. Again I'll give one more. Item deleted is 50. One more. Item deleted is 60. So 3 more elements are deleted now. Now the queue has only 4 numbers. Even now if I try to insert another element, I'll give enter number to be inserted as 10. It says queue insertion failed, because rare variable is pointing to the last size index number, which is 9. If size is 10, front was 0, rare was 9. Since rare was 9, even though you delete all the elements from the front, since rare is 9, there are no further further space to insert elements. Therefore, it is showing queue is full and insertion is failed. Okay. So, this is a major disadvantage of queue, because when I say size is 10, I am expecting it to have 10 elements. But it is not having 10 elements sometimes. When the insertion operations are more than the deletion operations, it is happening like this. But when I completely remove the queue, then it will work, because when there is only one element, see right now, front is 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, front is 6, rare is 9 right now. When I remove one more element, front gets incremented. It is 7, 8, 9. Again I will remove. Now there are only 2 elements. Front index values variable is 8. Rare index value variable is 9. Now I'll delete one more. Okay, now there is only one element available, which is 100. In delete operation, I had written a condition, that is, if both are -1, queue is empty. If both are equal, then there is only one element in the queue and we are deleting it. So queue is supposed to be empty. So after deleting, I am making both the variables equal to -1, right? So I'll give 2. Now deleted item is 100. Queue is empty, but now if I give insert element, see, it will work. Insertion will not work until the last element that we inserted is deleted. Hope you understood how the variables modify and all that. Any doubts in this? Any doubts, please ask in the chat box. You can take the screenshot of the program. The program that I wrote was not complete, so you can take the screenshot of this program, please. Done. I'll scroll down from case 1. Take screenshot of this screen also. Now this done. Finally, take the last screenshot. I will also share this program in your in the Telegram channel. I will share. Okay. So if you have not yet joined the Telegram channel, you can join it using the link provided in the description. I've also mentioned the link for WhatsApp group. If you're not using Telegram, then you can even join WhatsApp group. If you're already part of one of the group where you're getting links of these classes, then you don't have to join the WhatsApp group that is mentioned below in this link. Okay, initially like I had one group, and now that the number of students are more, I have 4 WhatsApp groups. Okay, so the link that I will be mentioning in the description is the link for the latest group, which is not full yet. You don't have to join that group if you are already part of one of the WhatsApp groups where every day I'm sharing these links. If you are already part of any of those WhatsApp groups, then you don't have to join the new WhatsApp group. But make sure you join Telegram channel, because you can access all the previously uploaded content also. Okay, so after the class, like, watch out our community tab section every now and then, and I will be posting polls questions every day in the community tab. Participate in the poll and you can comment the correct answer. So I'm planning to do kind of a weekly contest wherein entire week whoever is answering all the questions posted in the entire week, they'll get some benefits. I'll conduct some special doubt clarification classes in Zoom, which is private only to these students. Okay, not for everybody, because the number of maximum participants will be 100. So I am only the first top 100 students who are answering these comments, who are giving answers to the polls questions in the comments. Those students will be selected and their names will be announced, and only for such students, say once in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there will be one private Zoom class conducted for them where all their doubts will be clarified. Okay, that's it for today's class. Please practice this. In the next class, we will see modification of the same program similar to the stack one. Global variables that we have given here, these 2 global variables, try to put it in as a local variable, these 2. And I have already told you how to modify function prototype and all that in the stack program. Refer that. In the same way, you do the modifications for Q program also and try. Anyways, I'll explain that in the next class. Okay, see you in the next class. Bye bye.